Greetings, Earthlings. I want to tell you a funny story about my brother, John, Uncle John. I call him Bonge. It's a long story. Anyway, my brother John is a really cool person. We're 13 and a half years apart age-wise. He was a really, really good baseball player, a better baseball player than I was. He was a catcher, and he played baseball up at the University of Utah. And I think this happened right after my mission. And I came home, and we had to redo the roof. And so we had workers working on the roof. And John was just fascinated by the workers. And I might add parenthetically that one of the workers was one of those hoods in my reading class that seems to have scarred me for my entire life. But that's another story. So anyway, John somehow, he wants to be in the middle of the action. And he gets up on top of the roof. And there is like this big 4x6. I think it was a 4x6 thing that was leaning against, it was from the ground up to the roof. And I think he must have gotten a notion that he wanted the firemen go down a pole, you know, when the fire alarm sounds off. And the workers weren't really thrilled that John was up on the roof, and they kept saying, "Hey dude, you know, watch out, watch out." And Johnny, who's never seemed to lack for confidence, he got all the confidence out of the Harris men in the family, leaving me constantly lacking confidence. But that's another story. Okay, so what he did was, in his mind, he thought, oh man, that'd be pretty cool. He probably was 7 or 8 maybe. And he thought to himself, I'll bet I can slide down that 4x6 leaning up against and go down without using the ladder. Not a good decision. I've made plenty of not so good decisions in my life, but that was not a good one. But let me see if I can kind of tell you what happened. It's pretty funny. So he decides to make like a fireman and wants to slide down the 4x6 to the ground. At first, just for the first couple of feet, it worked out pretty good. But then a sliver about this long and about yay thick somehow came loose from the board. And how can I delicately put this? John, as he was sliding down, got his butt cheek shish kebabbed. It went in one side of his butt and then out the other. It was the right cheek, I believe, the butt cheek. And he goes screaming into the house, and he'd been told, don't do that, don't go up on the roof. And of course he knew better than anybody else. And he goes into the house and tells my mom. My mom sees that he has truly been shish kebabbed, and so they spring into action. My sister Laurie had a car that had a sunroof, and so because his butt was shish kebabbed, he couldn't sit. Now, obviously, they needed to go, you know, it was just a clear shish kebab. And obviously, they had to go to the emergency room. I don't know how my mom and Laurie could not stop, or if they laughed or stifling their laughs, but they had to roll the sunroof down or pull it back, and John had to be straight, and he had to kind of lean back, and it was like he was in a parade of shish kebabbed buns, and they had to go to the emergency center. And so, what is the moral of this story? Listen to your parents and listen to people like Rivers and Queenie, and don't get shish kebabbed.